the millionaire froze when he saw his lost daughter's pendant on a single mother on the street. The afternoon sun beat down on Avenida Insurgentes, turning Mexico City into a sprawling oven of concrete and exhaust fumes. Street vendors hawked their wares. Tacos al pastor sizzling on makeshift grills, knockoff watches spread across blankets, bouquets of roses wilting in the heat, the smell of charred meat mixed with car exhaust, creating that distinctly urban perfume that defined the heart of the city. Fernando Salazar walked through it all like a ghost. At 48, he cut an impressive figure, tailored gray suit that probably cost more than most people made in a month. Italian leather shoes clicking against the cracked pavement, a Swiss watch glinting on his wrist. To anyone watching, he looked like success personified. A mogul, a man who had it all. But Fernando knew better. He'd learned 20 years ago that you could have everything and nothing at the same time. That money couldn't buy back what really mattered. That all the power in the world meant jack squat when you couldn't protect the one person who actually needed you. His hand drifted unconsciously to his chest, pressing against the hollow ache that never quite went away. 20 years, 2 decades since that September day when his entire world collapsed in the span of a heartbeat. Just one phone call. That's all it took. He'd been at the park with Isabella, 8 years old, pigtails bouncing as she laughed on the swings. He could still hear her voice, crystal clear. "Higher, Papa, push me higher." Then his phone rang. Business, always business. He'd turned away for maybe 2 minutes, 3, tops. When he looked back, the swing was empty, still swaying gently in the breeze. Empty. Fernando had torn that park apart, screamed her name until his throat bled, called the police, hired private investigators, plastered her face on every street corner in the city. He'd spent a fortune, called in every favor, made deals with people he'd normally cross the street to avoid. Nothing. Isabella had vanished like smoke, and she'd taken his soul with her. His wife Veronica couldn't handle it. 6 months of shared grief, of looking at each other and seeing only failure, only blame. She'd left, just packed her bags one morning and walked out. No dramatic goodbye, no screaming match. Just gone. Fernando threw himself into work after that, built an empire from the ground up, turned his pain into profit. People called him ruthless. A shark. He didn't care. The money filled the hours, even if it couldn't fill the void. But now, walking down this crowded street on an ordinary Thursday afternoon, something made him stop dead in his tracks. A young woman stood at a fruit stand about 20 feet ahead, holding the hand of a little girl. The woman looked to be in her late 20s, worn jeans with a hole in the knee, a faded white blouse that had seen better days, cheap sandals. Her face was tired, the kind of tired that came from working double shifts and skipping meals so your kid could eat. Fernando had walked past 1,000 women like her. Mexico City was full of them. Single mothers grinding through life one day at a time, invisible to people like him, but something made him look closer. Maybe it was the way afternoon light caught on something at her neck, a glint of silver, a small pendant hanging from a delicate chain. Fernando's heart stopped. He couldn't see it clearly from this distance, but he didn't need to. The shape was unmistakable. A small silver heart, about the size of a thumbnail. He'd had it custom made 20 years ago from a jeweler in Polanco, had personally approved every detail, including the inscription on the back that no one else would ever think to put there. Para mi Isabella, todo mi amor, Papa, for my Isabella, all my love, Dad. The world around him seemed to slow down. The vendor's shouts became muffled, like he was underwater. His legs felt like lead, but somehow he was moving forward, pushing through the crowd with a desperation he hadn't felt in years. "Excuse me," he heard himself say, his voice coming out rough. "Disculpe, señorita." The woman turned, her eyes, deep brown, framed by dark lashes, widened slightly in surprise. The little girl at her side, maybe 8 years old with wild curly hair and a pink dress that had been washed too many times, stared up at him with innocent curiosity. "Si, señor?" The woman's voice was soft, cautious, the way people sounded when they weren't used to rich strangers talking to them. Fernando couldn't tear his eyes away from the pendant. Up close, there was no doubt. The delicate filigree work around the edges, the slight dent on the left side where Isabella had dropped it once. Every detail exactly as he remembered. "That pendant," he managed, pointing with a hand that wouldn't stop shaking. Where did you get it? The woman's hand flew instinctively to her chest, fingers closing protectively around the silver heart. It's mine. I've had it since I was little. But where did it come from? Who gave it to you? She looked uncomfortable now, taking a small step back. The little girl pressed closer to her mother's leg, sensing the tension. I don't know, senor, I've always had it. It's the only thing. She stopped, seeming to catch herself. Why are you asking? Fernando forced himself to breathe, to think. He was scaring her, and that was the last thing he wanted. But 20 years of searching, of hoping, of endless dead ends and crushed dreams. It all came crashing down in this moment. What's your name? The question came out gentler this time. Claudia Rivera. She shifted the grocery bag in her other hand. Look, if this is about something, I need to... Rivera. Fernando's mind raced. Not Salazar, but the pendant. Do you remember where you got that pendant, Claudia? It's important. She looked at him like he'd lost his mind. Maybe he had. I told you. I don't remember. I've had it as long as I can remember. Someone gave it to me when I was little, but I don't. She trailed off, something flickering across her face. Confusion, pain. I don't remember much from before I was 8 years old. Fernando felt the ground shift beneath him. Those eyes. Now that he was really looking, he could see it. The shape of her face, the way she held her head. Little things that memory had preserved like photographs. Listen, he said, trying to keep his voice steady. I know this sounds crazy, but I think I might know where that pendant came from. Claudia clutched it tighter. What do you mean? I need to be sure first, but please. He reached into his jacket, pulled out a business card. Please, just keep this. If you ever want to talk, or if you need anything, call me. Anytime. She took the card reluctantly, glancing at it. Her eyes widened slightly at the name. Salazar Industries. Everyone in Mexico City knew that name. Why would someone like you care about someone like me? The question wasn't hostile. Just genuinely confused? Because you might be my daughter? Because I've been looking for you for 20 years? Because I've been dead inside since the day you vanished? And now there's a chance, just a chance, that I might get to be alive again. But he couldn't say any of that. Not yet. Because everyone deserves a chance, he said simply. Claudia studied him for a long moment, then tucked the card into her pocket. Come on, mija, she said to the little girl, who hadn't stopped staring at Fernando. We need to get home. Fernando watched them disappear into the crowd, the silver pendant catching the light one last time before they vanished. He stood there on the crowded sidewalk, frozen, while the city moved around him. 20 years of searching, 20 years of nothing, and now, maybe, just maybe, everything. Fernando didn't sleep that night. He sat in his penthouse office. The city sprawled out below him like a carpet of lights, clutching a photograph that had lived in his wallet for 20 years. Isabella at 8, grinning at the camera, wearing that same pendant around her neck. The photo was creased and faded from being pulled out and stared at too many times, but he could still see every detail of her face. He held it up to the lamp, then pulled out his phone and scrolled to the picture he'd managed to snap of Claudia when she wasn't looking. Set them side by side. The eyes were the same, that particular shade of brown, like honey held up to sunlight. The shape of the jaw, even the way her eyebrows arched just slightly higher on the left. But it had been 20 years. People changed. He could be seeing what he wanted to see, letting hope cloud his judgment. God knows he'd done that before. Chased down leads that went nowhere, convinced himself a dozen times that some random girl on the street was Isabella, only to have his heart ripped out all over again. This time felt different. Though, that pendant, there was no way it was a coincidence. He picked up his phone and dialed a number he knew by heart. Javier, I need you. Fernando, it's 2 a.m, amigo. I know what time it is. I need you at my office now. There was a pause, then a heavy sigh. I'll be there in 20. Javier Morales had been Fernando's investigator for the past decade. Ex-cop, pushed out of the force for asking too many uncomfortable questions about corruption. He was in his mid-50s now, with salt and pepper hair and the kind of face that had seen too much and forgotten how to be surprised. But he was good. More importantly, he was loyal. Fernando trusted exactly 3 people in this world. Javier was one of them. When Javier arrived, still pulling on his jacket, Fernando didn't waste time with pleasantries. He slid the photo and his phone across the desk. "Tell me what you see." Javier picked up both, studying them carefully. His expression didn't change, but Fernando caught the slight widening of his eyes. After 20 years of working together, he could read the man pretty well. "Where did you take this?" "Avenida Insurgentes. Yesterday afternoon. And the pendant? Identical to the one I gave Isabella, down to the scratch on the side." Javier set down the phone and leaned back in his chair, fingers steepled under his chin. "You know what you're asking me to do here?" "Right. We've been down this road before. This is different. You said that about the girl in Monterrey, and the one in Guadalajara. And I know what I said." Fernando's voice came out sharper than he intended. He took a breath, forced himself to calm down. "But look at her, Javi. Really look." Javier picked up the photo again, his expression softening slightly. "What's her name?" "Claudia Rivera, late 20s, single mother, works retail from what I could tell, lives somewhere in the city. I don't know where yet." "That's what you want me to find out. Everything. Where she lives, where she works, who she talks to, and most importantly, where that pendant came from." Javier nodded slowly. "This is going to take time. And if she really is, if there's even a chance." He trailed off, choosing his words carefully. "You need to be prepared for this to go sideways, for it to hurt. It's been hurting for 20 years. What's a little more?" The look Javier gave him said everything his mouth didn't. Fernando couldn't just sit around waiting for Javier to dig up information. He needed to do something, even if it was probably stupid and definitely impulsive. He found Claudia 3 days later at a small clothing boutique in a struggling neighborhood, the kind of place that sold last season's knockoffs at prices people could actually afford. Through the window, he watched her fold shirts with practiced efficiency, occasionally helping customers with a tired but genuine smile. The little girl, her daughter, sat in a corner doing homework, her tongue poking out in concentration. Fernando waited until Claudia stepped outside during her break. Sitting on a bench with a homemade lunch that looked meager even from a distance. "Claudia," she jumped, nearly dropping her container. When she saw him, confusion flickered across her face, followed by something that might have been recognition. "You're that man from the other day, the one who was asking about my pendant. Fernando Salazar?" He gestured to the bench. "May I?" She hesitated, then shrugged. "It's a public bench." He sat, leaving a respectful distance between them, up close. In the harsh light of day, the resemblance to Isabella was even stronger. It made his chest ache. "I have a proposition for you." Claudia let out a short laugh that held no humor. "Yeah, I bet you do. Look, senor, I'm not that kind of—" "A job," Fernando interrupted quickly. "I'm offering you a job at my company. Better pay, better hours, benefits for you and your daughter." She stared at him like he'd grown a second head. "You don't even know me. Why would you do that?" "Call it instinct. It wasn't exactly a lie. I'm a good judge of character, and I think you deserve a break. Nobody does something for nothing." Her eyes narrowed with suspicion. "What's the catch?" "No catch, just an opportunity." He pulled out another business card, this one with different information. "This is my HR director. Call her, set up an interview. If you don't like what you hear, walk away, no strings attached." Claudia took the card slowly, studying it like it might bite her. "This doesn't make any sense." "Life rarely does." Fernando stood, adjusting his jacket. "Think about it, that's all I ask." He started to walk away, then paused. "Your daughter, what's her name?" "Sophia." Claudia's voice softened when she said it. "She's 8. Of course she was. She's lucky to have you," Fernando said quietly, and meant it. That evening, Javier called with preliminary information. Claudia Rivera, 28 years old, works 3 part-time jobs, barely makes rent, no father listed on the birth certificate, and here's where it gets interesting. She has no official records before age 8. Fernando's heart started pounding. "What do you mean, no records?" "I mean she doesn't exist before then. No birth certificate, no hospital records, nothing. It's like she materialized out of thin air. How is that possible?" Someone created an identity for her. A woman named Rosa Rivera listed herself as the mother on documents filed when Claudia was 8. Rosa died 2 years ago, cancer. But according to neighbors I talked to, Rosa always claimed she found Claudia abandoned at a bus station, took her in, raised her as her own, found her. Fernando's voice was barely a whisper. When exactly? He heard papers rustling. September 2004, can't get an exact date, but September 12th. She went missing on September 12th, 2004. The silence on the other end of the line spoke volumes. Fernando, Javier said carefully, I need you to prepare yourself. This could still be a coincidence. People abandon kids all the time. The pendant could have been, get me a DNA sample. What? You heard me? I need to know for sure. No more maybes, no more coincidences. Get me a DNA sample. Compare it to mine. I need to know. Another long pause. That's technically illegal without her consent. I don't care. Do whatever you have to do, just... Please, Javi. I need to know if my daughter is alive. The raw desperation in his own voice surprised him. He'd spent 20 years building walls, becoming the kind of man who didn't beg or plead. But right now, none of that mattered. I'll see what I can do, Javier said finally. But Fernando, what are you going to do if the answer is yes? Fernando looked at Isabella's photo on his desk, then at the image of Claudia on his phone. Whatever it takes to get her back, Claudia called the next morning. Fernando was in a meeting with his board of directors, half listening to quarterly projections, when his personal cell buzzed. He glanced at the screen, unknown number, and almost sent it to voicemail. Then something made him answer. Fernando Salazar. Senor Salazar, this is Claudia Rivera from the other day. He stood up so fast his chair rolled backward. Excuse me, he told the room, already heading for the door. Ignored the confused looks from his executives. Claudia, thank you for calling. I talked to your HR director. Her voice was cautious, like she still couldn't quite believe this was real. She said you were serious about the job. Absolutely serious. It's just, I'm nobody. You don't owe me anything, because you might be everything. Everyone deserves a chance. When can you start? There was a long pause. He could hear traffic in the background, the honk of horns. She was probably on another break, squeezing in this call between folding shirts and ringing up customers. Monday, if that's okay. Monday's perfect. Come to the main office at 9. Someone will show you around. After they hung up, Fernando leaned against the hallway wall and let out a breath he didn't know he'd been holding. She'd said yes. She'd actually said yes. One step closer, Javier worked fast. Within a week, he'd assembled a file that was both illuminating and frustrating. Rosa Rivera had been a cleaning lady, working multiple jobs to make ends meet. Lived in a tiny apartment in Tepito, one of the roughest neighborhoods in the city. By all accounts, she'd been a good woman. Went to church every Sunday, helped her neighbors, raised Claudia with whatever love and discipline she could muster. But Rosa had a sister, Elena Rivera. Elena worked as a nanny back in the early 2000s, Javier explained, spreading documents across Fernando's desk. Bounced around between different families in the upscale neighborhoods, including, and this is where it gets weird, families in Polanco and Lomas, right near the park where Isabella disappeared. Fernando's blood ran cold. You think she had something to do with it? I think it's one hell of a coincidence. Javier tapped another document. Elena disappeared from the radar right after September 2004. No employment records, no address changes registered, just vanished. Then Rosa suddenly has an 8-year-old daughter she found at a bus station. Where's Elena now? Still looking. But there's more. Javier hesitated. I managed to get that DNA sample you wanted. Fernando's heart stopped. And sent it to the lab yesterday. Results should be back in 3 to 5 days. Javier's expression was grave. But Fernando, even if it's a match, we need to be careful here. We're talking about a potential kidnapping, conspiracy. If someone took Isabella deliberately, then they're going to pay. Fernando's voice came out flat. Cold. I don't care who it is. That's what I'm worried about. Javier gathered his papers. Just promise me you won't do anything stupid until we know for sure. And even then, we go through proper channels. Get the police involved, lawyers. I promise. The The lie came easily. Fernando had spent 20 years learning to say what people needed to hear. Claudia started work on Monday. Fernando watched from his office as she arrived. Sophia in tow. The little girl clutched her mother's hand, eyes wide as she took in the gleaming lobby, the marble floors, the massive chandelier that probably cost more than their yearly rent. His assistant, Maria, met them with a warm smile and took them through orientation. Fernando had given strict instructions. Treat Claudia like any other employee. No special favors. Nothing that would make her uncomfortable or suspicious. Just a regular job for a woman who desperately needed one. He told himself he was being altruistic, helping someone down on their luck. But really, he just needed her close. Needed to watch her, learn her mannerisms, listen to her voice. Needed to convince himself that this wasn't just another dead end, another cruel trick his desperate brain was playing on him. During her lunch break, Fernando accidentally ran into her in the cafeteria. "Claudia, how's your first day going?" She looked up from her sandwich. Homemade again, he noticed, and gave a tired smile. "Good. Everyone's been really nice. Almost too nice, actually. I keep waiting for the other shoe to drop." "No shoes dropping? Just a job." He gestured to the empty chair. "Mind if I sit?" She shook her head, and he settled across from her. Sophia was in the company daycare, a perk Fernando had insisted on when designing the building years ago, back when he thought he might have more children someday. "Your daughter seems bright," he said. Claudia's whole face lit up. "She's everything. Top of her class. Always reading. Asks a million questions about everything." Then the light dimmed slightly. "I just wish I could give her more, better school. Nicer clothes. A place where the ceiling doesn't leak when it rains. You're doing your best. That counts for a lot." "Does it?" She picked at her sandwich. "Sometimes I wonder if my best is good enough. If she'll grow up resenting me for all the things we couldn't afford. All the opportunities she missed. She won't." Fernando spoke with certainty. Kids don't remember the material stuff. They remember whether their parents showed up, whether they were loved. And from what I can see, Sophia knows she's loved. Claudia blinked rapidly, and he realized she was fighting tears. "Sorry. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. You're my boss. I'm a person first, boss second." He paused, choosing his next words carefully. "You said you don't remember much from before you were 8. Do you mind if I ask what you do remember?" She tensed slightly. "Why? Just curious. Sorry if that's too personal." She was quiet for a long moment, staring at her sandwich like it held answers. "Flashes, mostly. Nightmares, I guess. There's this park in my dreams. Yellow flowers everywhere. Swings creaking. A man's voice calling a name I can't quite make out. And I always wake up feeling lost, like I forgot something important." Fernando's throat tightened. The park where Isabella disappeared had been full of Mexican sunflowers. Bright yellow, Isabella's favorite color. Rosa, the woman who raised me. She never talked about where I came from, Claudia continued. I asked when I was younger, but she'd just get this sad look and say some stories were better left buried. I stopped asking eventually. "Do you wish you knew?" "Every day." She met his eyes, and the pain there was raw, unguarded. It's like, how do you know who you are if you don't know where you came from? I look at Sophia, and she's got this whole history. She knows her mom, knows her grandmother, has photos and stories. But me, I'm just Claudia who appeared one day. No past, no roots, just existing. Before Fernando could respond, his phone buzzed. A text from Javier. Lab results came back early. "We need to talk now." Fernando excused himself and practically ran to his office. Javier was already there, envelope in hand, face unreadable. "Tell me." Javier handed him the envelope without a word. Fernando's hand shook as he tore it open. Medical jargon filled the page, numbers and percentages that meant nothing until his eyes landed on the conclusion. Probability of paternity, 99.9%. Relationship, biological father and daughter confirmed. The paper slipped from his fingers, floating to the floor like a leaf. "She's mine," he whispered. "Claudia is Isabella. My daughter is alive." Javier nodded slowly. "And now comes the hard part. What are you going to tell her?" Fernando sank into his chair, overwhelmed. 20 years of searching, 20 years of hoping and grieving, and forcing himself to keep living, even when all he wanted was to stop. And now this. Proof. Scientific, irrefutable proof that his daughter, his Isabella, was alive and sitting 30 feet away in the cafeteria, eating a homemade sandwich and worrying about giving her own daughter a better life. I don't know, he admitted. But first, I need to find out who took her from me, and I need to make sure they can't hurt her again. Javier pulled out another folder, this one thicker. Then you're going to want to see this, because I think I found Elena, and she's not alone. Fernando couldn't tell Claudia. Not yet. The DNA results burned in his desk drawer like a live coal, but every time he thought about confronting her with the truth, his throat closed up. How do you tell someone their entire life has been a lie? That the identity they've built, the memories they've clung to, the person they think they are, all of it is built on a foundation of deception. So instead, he did what he'd always done best. He waited, he watched, he got closer. Over the next few weeks, Fernando found excuses to run into Claudia, coffee breaks that happened to coincide with hers, lunch invitations that he framed as getting to know the team, walking her to her car at the end of the day, claiming he was headed out anyway. She was wary at first, kept that distance people learn when they've been burned too many times. But slowly, so slowly he almost didn't notice it happening, she started to relax around him. You know people are talking, right? She said one afternoon as they sat in the courtyard outside the building. Sophia was doing homework at a nearby table, her pencil scratching across paper. Let them talk. Easy for you to say, you're the boss. She took a sip of her coffee, the good stuff from the executive floor, not the break room sludge. He'd made sure of that. I'm just the charity case you took pity on. That's not what you are. Then what am I? She looked at him directly, and there was a challenge in her eyes. Not hostile, just searching. Because I still don't understand why you picked me, out of all the people in this city who need help. Why me? Because you're my daughter. Because I've been looking for you for 20 years. Because every time I look at you, I see the little girl I lost, and the woman she became without me. Sometimes you just know when someone deserves a break, he said instead. Claudia studied him for a long moment, then shook her head with a small smile. You're a strange man, Fernando Salazar. It was the first time she'd used his first name. Something warm bloomed in his chest. I've been called worse. The more time Fernando spent with Claudia, the more he saw Isabella in her. Not just the physical features, though those were undeniable, but the little things. The way she tilted her head when she was thinking hard about something, how she bit her lower lip when she was nervous, the fact that she always organized her desk with pens on the left, papers on the right, just like Isabella used to arrange her coloring books. But there were new things too, things that were purely Claudia. The way she'd lived through poverty had made her resourceful in ways that broke his heart. She could stretch a piso further than anyone he'd ever met, brought lunch from home every day, wore the same 3 outfits on rotation, walked to work to save bus fare even though it took 45 minutes each way. You know we have a transportation allowance, he mentioned once. You could take the bus. The walk's good for me, gives me time to think. What do you think about? She smiled. Everything, nothing, whether Sophia needs new shoes. She's growing like a weed. What I'm going to make for dinner with whatever's in the fridge. How I got so lucky to have this job. Her smile turned wistful. Sometimes I think about those dreams. The park with the yellow flowers. Try to figure out what they mean. Tell me about them. Claudia set down her coffee, her gaze going distant. It's always the same. I'm little, maybe 7 or 8. There's this man, but I can never see his face. Just hear his voice. He sounds happy, safe. He's pushing me on a swing and I'm laughing, and there are yellow flowers everywhere. Mexican sunflowers, I think, though I don't know how I know that. Fernando's chest tightened. That park. His voice. His Isabella laughing as he pushed her higher. Higher. Always higher. And then what happens? Then everything goes dark. I hear shouting, feel hands grabbing me, and then nothing. I wake up. She shivered despite the warm afternoon. Rosa used to say they were just nightmares, that all kids have bad dreams. But these don't feel like dreams. They feel like memories trying to break through. What if they are memories, I mean? Claudia looked at him sharply. What are you saying? He'd gone too far. Fernando backtracked quickly. Just that sometimes our minds hold on to things we don't consciously remember. Trauma, especially, the brain buries it to protect us. You sound like you know something about that. I lost someone once, he said quietly. It was the most truth he'd given her. Long time ago. And for years, I had dreams about the day it happened. My mind trying to process what I couldn't accept when I was awake. I'm sorry. Claudia's hand moved like she might touch his arm, then stopped. Did you ever... are you okay now? No, not for 20 years. Not until I saw you on that street corner. Getting there, he said instead. Sophia was the one who really broke down Fernando's walls. The little girl had been shy at first, hiding behind her mother's legs whenever Fernando appeared. But kids have a way of sensing who's safe. And eventually, her curiosity won out. Are you really the boss of this whole building? She asked one day, appearing at Fernando's elbow while he talked to Claudia. I am. Even the top floors. Even those. Her eyes went wide. Wow, Mama. Did you hear that? He's the boss of everything. Claudia laughed. I think there are some things even Mr. Salazar isn't the boss of, mija. Like what? Like bedtime and vegetables and doing your homework? Sophia made a face that was so reminiscent of young Isabella that Fernando had to look away for a moment. Over the following days, Sophia started seeking him out more. She'd show him her homework, ask his opinion on which book she should read next, tell him elaborate stories about her classmates that he suspected were 70% imagination. You're good with her, Claudia observed one afternoon, watching Fernando help Sophia with a math problem. Do you have kids? The question hit like a fist. I did once. A daughter. Did. Claudia's voice went soft. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. She disappeared a long time ago. I looked everywhere. But, he trailed off, the old pain mixing with new hope in a way that made it hard to breathe. That's awful. Claudia touched his arm this time, her hand warm against his sleeve. I can't even imagine. Sophia is my whole world. If something happened to her, you're a good mother. She's lucky to have you. Some days I wonder if I'm enough, if she deserves better than what I can give her. Fernando looked at Sophia, bent over her homework with fierce concentration, then at Claudia, who despite everything, the poverty, the struggle, the unknown past, had raised this bright, kind, curious child. You're more than enough, he said firmly. Trust me. That evening, after Claudia and Sophia had left, Javier appeared in Fernando's office with an update. Found Elena. She's living in Querétaro under a different name. And get this. She's been receiving monthly payments from a bank account for the past 20 years. Whose account? Javier slid a document across the desk. That's where it gets interesting. The account belongs to Patricia Salazar. Fernando's blood went cold. My sister. Your sister. Javier's expression was grim. And there's more. I pulled financial records from September 2004, 3 days before Isabella disappeared. Patricia withdrew 50,000 pesos in cash. No explanation, no paper trail. Then 2 days after the disappearance, Elena Rivera deposits almost the exact same amount. The room started spinning. Fernando gripped the edge of his desk. You're saying my sister, Patricia. I'm saying someone paid Elena to take Isabella, and all evidence points to Patricia. Javier paused. Fernando, I need to ask, did your sister have any reason to want Isabella gone? The answer hit him like ice water. The will, his father's will, amended a year before Isabella was born. Everything to Fernando's children first, then to Patricia if he had none. With Isabella alive, Patricia got nothing. With Isabella gone, she stood to inherit everything. Fernando whispered. His own sister had stolen his daughter for money. Fernando wanted to confront Patricia immediately, storm into her penthouse, throw the evidence in her face. Watch her squirm as 20 years of lies unraveled, but Javier talked him down. We need more than bank records, the investigator said. We need Elena's testimony. We need documentation that proves Patricia knew exactly what she was doing. Otherwise, she'll lawyer up and claim it was a loan, a coincidence, anything to create reasonable doubt. How long? Give me 2 weeks. I'll get everything we need to bury her." Those were the longest 2 weeks of Fernando's life. He had to act normal around Patricia when she showed up at board meetings. Had to smile and make small talk while rage burned in his chest every time he looked at her. His own sister, the woman he'd cried to after Isabella disappeared, who'd hugged him at the funeral they'd held even though there was no body, who'd told him it wasn't his fault. She'd orchestrated the whole thing. Meanwhile, Claudia continued working, oblivious to the storm gathering around her. Fernando watched her like a hawk, hyper-aware of every person she interacted with, every shadow that followed her home. If Patricia found out the truth, that Isabella was alive, that Fernando knew, there was no telling what she might do. Then, 3 days before Javier was supposed to return from Querétaro with Elena's recorded confession, everything went to hell. It happened on a Thursday evening. Claudia and Sofia were walking home from work. Taking their usual route through the crowded streets, Fernando had offered to have a driver take them home a dozen times, but Claudia always refused. "We're fine," she'd say. "We've been doing this for years." He should have insisted. The call came at 7:30, an unknown number. Fernando almost didn't answer, but something made him pick up. "Señor Salazar." The voice was shaking, young, scared. "Who is this?" "It's Claudia. I'm sorry to call. I didn't know who else." Her voice cracked. "Someone robbed us. They took my pendant." Fernando was already grabbing his keys. "Where are you?" "Corner of Insurgentes and Durango. The police are here, but..." She broke off, and he could hear her crying. "That pendant was all I had. The only thing from before, and now it's gone. Stay there." "I'm coming." He made it in 15 minutes. Illegal parking and traffic laws be damned. Found them sitting on a bench outside a convenience store, wrapped in those thin blankets the police hand out. Sofia was pressed against her mother's side, silent tears streaming down her face. Claudia's hands were shaking. A cop was taking a statement, looking bored. Just another street robbery in a city full of them. "Claudia." Fernando crouched in front of them. "Are you hurt?" She shook her head. "He just grabbed it and ran. Didn't even ask for my purse. Just the pendant." Her hand went to her throat, to the empty space where silver used to rest. Why would someone steal a worthless necklace and leave everything else? Because it wasn't worthless. Because someone knew exactly what they were taking. Fernando's blood ran cold. "Did you see his face?" "No, he wore a mask. It happened so fast." She looked up at him with red-rimmed eyes. "That pendant was the only connection I had to whoever I was before Rosa found me. And now it's gone. I'll never know where I came from." He wanted to tell her right then. Wanted to say, "You came from me. You're my daughter. I can tell you everything. But not like this. Not on a street corner with cops listening and Sofia traumatized and everything wrong. I'll help you find it," he said instead. "I have resources. People who can..." "It's gone, Fernando." Her voice was hollow. "Things like that don't just turn up again." Back at his penthouse, Fernando called Javier. "Someone stole Claudia's pendant. Tonight. Knew exactly what they were taking." Mierda. Papers rustled on Javier's end. "You think Patricia knows? Who else would want that specific piece of jewelry?" Fernando paced his living room, unable to sit still. "She must have figured out I was getting close. This is her trying to destroy evidence. Or worse?" Javier's voice went grim. "If she's desperate enough to steal the pendant, what else is she capable of?" The implication hung in the air like poison. "We need to move faster," Fernando said. "How soon can you get Elena's testimony?" "I'm with her now. She's scared, Fernando. Says she's been living in fear for 20 years, waiting for this day. But she's ready to talk. Says the guilt's been eating her alive." "Good, because once we have her on record, I'm going to the police. And then I'm going to tell Claudia everything." "You sure that's wise?" Springing this on her while she's already traumatized. Fernando looked out at the city lights, thinking of Claudia's tear-stained face, Sofia's silent crying. I can't protect her if she doesn't know what she's up against. And if Patricia is making moves, then she's already in danger, Javier finished. "All right, give me 48 hours. I'll have everything you need." The next morning, Fernando found Claudia at her desk, staring blankly at her computer screen. She'd clearly not slept. Her eyes were puffy, and she wore the same clothes as yesterday. "Hey," he said softly. You doing okay? Not really. She didn't look at him. I keep thinking about it. That pendant. Rosa gave it to me. Or at least she said she did. Said it was mine when she found me, and now it's just gone. Like that part of my past never existed. Fernando pulled up a chair. What if I told you it did exist? That I have photos of the pendant, documentation. We could recreate it exactly. It wouldn't be the same. No, but it would be something. She finally looked at him, and the grief in her eyes was unbearable. Why do you care so much? About me. About my past. About any of this. He was so tired of lying. Because I know what it's like to lose something irreplaceable. And because he hesitated on the edge of truth. Because you remind me of someone I lost. And helping you feels like maybe I can fix something that's been broken for a long time. It wasn't the whole truth. But it wasn't a lie either. Claudia reached across the desk and took his hand. Thank you for everything. I don't know what I did to deserve someone like you in my corner, but thank you. Her hand in his felt right, natural, like coming home after a long journey. You don't have to thank me, he said. Just be careful, okay? Don't walk home alone for a while. Let me have a driver take you and Sophia. Fernando, please, just until things settle down for my peace of mind. She searched his face, clearly puzzled by the intensity, but eventually nodded. Okay, if it means that much to you. It does. That evening, Fernando's phone rang. Patricia, we need to talk, she said without preamble. About your new employee, Claudia Rivera. A pause, heavy with meaning. Or should I say, Isabella Salazar? Fernando's heart stopped. What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. I know you've been investigating. Know you ran the DNA test. Know you've been playing detective for weeks now. Her voice went cold. And I know you're planning to destroy me with whatever evidence you think you've found. You kidnapped my daughter. The words came out like ground glass. You stole her from me, paid someone to take her away, all for money, all for survival. Patricia's laugh was bitter. You had everything, Fernando. The company, the family, the perfect life. What did I have? The scraps you threw my way. So yes, I made a choice. And I'd make it again. She was 8 years old. She was your leverage, your heir, your way of keeping me dependent forever. A pause. But here's the thing, Hermano. I've been covering my tracks for 20 years. You think some washed-up investigator and a few bank records are going to take me down. I have lawyers, resources, and most importantly, I have leverage. What leverage? Claudia doesn't remember anything, does she? Doesn't remember being Isabella. To her, Rosa was her mother. Her whole life, her identity, her sense of self. It's all built on the story I created. Patricia's voice turned silky. You tell her the truth. You destroy her. Rip away everything she believes about herself. Can you really do that to your precious daughter? The line went dead. Fernando stood there, phone in hand, as the full weight of Patricia's words sank in. She was right. The truth would shatter Claudia, but keeping the secret might get her killed. He was trapped between destroying his daughter's world or potentially losing her forever. Fernando didn't sleep that night. Didn't even try. He sat in his office, staring at the DNA results. The photographs, the evidence Javier had compiled, 20 years of searching had led to this moment. And now that it was here, he was terrified. Patricia was right about one thing. The truth would destroy the life Claudia had built. She'd spent 28 years as Claudia Rivera, and that person was real. Her struggles, her triumphs, her identity as Sophia's mother. None of that was a lie, even if the foundation it was built on was. But keeping the secret was no longer an option, Patricia knew. And a desperate person with everything to lose was the most dangerous kind. At dawn, Fernando called Claudia. I need to see you today. It's important. Fernando, it's 6 a.m. Please come to my office. Bring Sophia. I'll have breakfast waiting. He paused. And Claudia, this is going to change everything, but I need you to trust me. Silence. Then, you're scaring me. I know, I'm sorry, but please come. They arrived at 8. Sophia was half asleep, leaning against her mother's side. Claudia looked worried, dark circles under her eyes matching Fernando's own. He'd had Maria set up breakfast in the conference room. Pastries, fresh fruit, Hot chocolate for Sophia. The little girl perked up at the sight of food, immediately reaching for a chocolate croissant. Mija, manners, Claudia chided gently. It's fine, Fernando said. Eat whatever you want, Sophia, while the girl ate. Claudia watched him with growing apprehension. What's this about, Fernando? You're acting strange. Let Sophia finish, then we'll talk. The waiting was excruciating. Every second felt like an hour. Finally, Sophia announced she was full and asked if she could watch videos on Claudia's phone. Claudia handed it over, and Fernando led them to his private office, settling Sophia on the couch with headphones while he and Claudia sat across from each other. Okay, Claudia said, her voice tight. You're freaking me out. What's going on? Fernando pulled out the old photograph, the one he'd carried for 20 years, and placed it on the desk between them. Before I say anything, I need you to look at this. Claudia picked up the photo, her brow furrowed. Who is this? My daughter, Isabella. She was 8 years old when this was taken. He paused. 1 week later, she disappeared from a park. I've been looking for her ever since. Claudia's hand trembled slightly. I don't understand. Why are you showing me this? Look at her neck. She studied the photo more closely, then gasped. Her hand flew to her own throat, to the place where her stolen pendant used to rest. That's my pendant. The exact same one. Not the same. But how? Her eyes widened. Are you saying someone stole mine because it was hers? I'm saying it was always yours. Fernando pulled out the DNA results. 3 weeks ago, I collected a sample of your DNA. I compared it to mine, Claudia. You are Isabella. You're my daughter. The paper slipped from her fingers. She stared at him like he'd started speaking a foreign language. What? You're my daughter, 20 years ago. Someone took you from that park. Someone paid to have you kidnapped and given to Rosa Rivera, who raised you as her own. But your real name is Isabella Salazar, and I'm your father. Claudia stood up so fast her chair rolled backward. No, that's insane. I can't be. Look at the photo, really look at it. She picked it up again with shaking hands. Fernando watched her examine the little girl's face. The eyes, the shape of the jaw, the smile. Rosa was my mother, Claudia whispered. Rosa was a kind woman who took care of you. But she wasn't your mother. Your mother was Veronica. She left after you disappeared. Couldn't handle the grief. This is crazy. Claudia backed away. You're telling me my entire life is a lie, that I'm not who I think I am. You're both. You're Claudia Rivera, the woman who survived, who raised Sophia, who built a life from nothing. But you're also Isabella Salazar, the daughter I lost, the daughter I never stopped looking for. Tears streamed down her face. I don't remember any of this. How can I be someone I don't even remember being? You were 8 when it happened. Trauma can block memories, but they're there. Your dreams about the park, the yellow flowers, the man's voice. Those aren't just dreams, Claudia. They're fragments of your real past trying to break through. She sank back into the chair, looking lost. The man in my dreams, that was you. Yes. And the flowers. Mexican sunflowers, your favorite. You used to pick them and bring them home. Her breath came in short gasps. This can't be real. It can't be. Fernando moved around the desk, kneeling beside her chair. I know this is overwhelming. I know it feels like your world is falling apart. But Claudia, Isabella, you need to understand something. I never stopped looking for you. Not for 1 day in 20 years. And now that I've found you, I need you to know the whole truth because you're in danger. She looked up sharply. What? The person who had you kidnapped. She's still out there, and she knows I found you. Who? Who would do that? Fernando's throat tightened. My sister, Patricia. She did it for money, for inheritance. And now that the truth is coming out, she's getting desperate. Your sister, Claudia's voice rose. Your own sister stole me, paid someone to kidnap a child. Yes, and my pendant. The robbery. That was her too, trying to destroy evidence. Claudia put her head in her hands. I think I'm going to be sick. Fernando wanted to hold her, to comfort her the way he would have when she was 8. But she wasn't that little girl anymore. She was a grown woman whose entire world had just been turned upside down. "I have proof," he said quietly. "DNA results. Financial records showing Patricia paying Elena Rivera, Rosa's sister, to take you. Elena's testimony admitting everything, and I'm taking it all to the police. But I needed you to know first. Needed you to hear it from me." Claudia was silent for a long time. When she finally spoke, her voice was barely a whisper. "What do I call you?" The question broke something in Fernando's chest. "Whatever feels right." "I don't know what feels right. I don't know anything anymore." She looked at him with red-rimmed eyes. "Who am I, Claudia or Isabella?" "You're both. You don't have to choose." "Don't I?" She laughed bitterly. "Because it feels like I'm being ripped in half. Rosa was my mother. She raised me, loved me, gave me everything she had, and now you're telling me she was part of some conspiracy." "No. Rosa didn't know. Elena gave you to her without explaining where you came from. Rosa thought she was saving an abandoned child. So she lied to me my whole life out of ignorance." Claudia shook her head. "I don't know if that's better or worse. She loved you. That part was real." "Was any of it real?" Claudia stood again, wrapping her arms around herself. "My name, my history, my identity. It's all just a story someone made up. I'm not even a real person." "Yes, you are." Fernando stood too. "You're the realest person I know. You survived. You raised Sophia. You built a life with nothing. That's not fake. That's strength." A sound from the couch made them both turn. Sophia had taken off her headphones and was staring at them with wide eyes. "Mama, why are you crying?" Claudia tried to compose herself. "It's okay, mija. Mama just got some surprising news." "What news?" Claudia looked at Fernando, helpless. He gave a slight nod. "Your choice. Mr. Salazar and I, we just found out we're family. Like cousins. Like..." Claudia's voice broke. "Like he's my papa." Sophia's eyes went even wider. "Really? Really?" The little girl looked at Fernando, processing this information with the rapid adaptability of children. "Does that mean you're my abuelo?" Fernando felt tears prick his eyes. "Yeah, sweetheart, I guess it does." "Cool," Sophia smiled. "I always wanted an abuelo." And just like that, with the child's simple acceptance, the weight of 20 years lifted just a little. Claudia met Fernando's eyes across the room. She wasn't smiling, wasn't ready to accept everything, but there was something in her expression. A crack in the wall, a tiny opening where hope might eventually grow. "So what happens now?" she asked. "Now we protect you, and then we make sure Patricia pays for what she did." Claudia didn't go back to work that day, or the next, or the one after that. Fernando gave her space, respecting her need to process everything, but he also made sure she was safe. Hired discreet security to watch her apartment, had groceries delivered, made sure she had his number on speed dial. From a distance, he watched her unravel. Javier reported back daily. "She's not sleeping, barely eating, just sits on her couch staring at that photo you gave her." And Sophia, "The kid's handling it better than her mom. Keeps asking when she can see her abuelo again." Javier paused. "Fernando, I know you want to give her space, but she's drowning. Maybe she needs you to throw her a lifeline." But Fernando was scared that pushing too hard would drive her away permanently. Scared that he'd already broken her by telling the truth. On the 4th day, she finally called. "Can you come over?" Her voice was hoarse, like she'd been crying. I need to talk to someone who understands." He was there in 20 minutes. Claudia's apartment was tiny, barely bigger than his walk-in closet, but it was clean, organized, decorated with the kind of care that came from making the most of what little you had. Pictures of Sophia covered every surface. A small altar in the corner held photos of Rosa, candles, and wilted flowers. Claudia sat on the couch in sweatpants and an old t-shirt, her hair pulled back messily. She looked exhausted. "Sophia's at a friend's house," she said without preamble. I couldn't let her see me like this." Fernando sat in the chair across from her, giving her space. "Like what? Falling apart?" She laughed bitterly. "Some mother I am, right? Can't even hold it together for my kid. You're allowed to fall apart. You just had your entire world turned upside down. That's the thing, though." Claudia leaned forward, elbows on her knees. "I don't know which world I'm mourning." Claudia Rivera's world, where I knew who I was even if I didn't know where I came from. Or Isabella Salazar's world, where I had a father and a mother and a real name, but I can't remember any of it. Maybe you're mourning both. How am I supposed to be both people? Her voice cracked. Everyone keeps saying I don't have to choose, but that's bullshit. Because every time I think about accepting that I'm Isabella, I feel like I'm betraying Rosa. And every time I think about staying Claudia, I feel like I'm rejecting you. You're not rejecting me, aren't I? She looked at him with red-rimmed eyes. You spent 20 years looking for Isabella, but I'm not her. I don't remember being her. I can't be the daughter you lost because that little girl is gone. I'm just whoever's left. Fernando moved to sit beside her on the couch. You want to know what I see when I look at you? What? I see Isabella in your eyes, in your smile, in the way you tilt your head when you're thinking. But I also see Claudia, the woman who survived something impossible, who raised an incredible daughter, who's stronger than anyone I've ever met. You're not one or the other. You're both. And that's okay. It doesn't feel okay. It feels like I'm being ripped in half. Then maybe we need to find a way to stitch those halves back together. Claudia was quiet for a long moment. I've been having more dreams since you told me. Memories, I guess. Fragments. Tell me. She closed her eyes. There's this bedroom, pink walls, stuffed animals everywhere, a music box that plays. I can't remember the song, but I can hear it. And there's this feeling of being safe, loved, like nothing bad could ever happen. Your room. You had a music box that played Claire de Lune. You'd fall asleep to it every night. A tear slid down her cheek. I remember a woman's voice, reading stories. Something about a princess and a tower. Rapunzel. Your mother read it to you so many times you memorized it. My mother. Claudia opened her eyes. Yeah. Veronica, where is she now? I don't know. She left 6 months after you disappeared. Sent divorce papers from somewhere in South America. I haven't heard from her since. Does she know that I'm alive? Not yet, but I can find her, if you want to meet her. Claudia shook her head. I don't know what I want. Every time I think I have a handle on this, something else hits me. Like yesterday, I was doing laundry and I found myself humming this tune, just random notes, nothing I recognized, but it felt familiar, you know, like my body remembered something my brain forgot. Claire de Lune, Fernando said softly. See, that's what I mean. There are all these pieces of Isabella inside me, but I can't access them. It's like trying to remember a dream after you wake up. You know it was there, but the details keep slipping away. Maybe they'll come back with time. And what if they don't? What if I never remember being your daughter? What if Isabella is just gone and I'm all that's left? Fernando took her hand carefully. Then I'll get to know Claudia, because you're still my daughter. Memories are not. DNA doesn't lie. But families aren't just DNA, are they? They're shared experiences, memories, history. We don't have any of that. So we'll make new ones, start from here. Claudia pulled her hand away, standing up and pacing. It's not that simple. You have this whole life, this company, this world I don't fit into. And I have Sophia, and my job, your job, I guess, and my apartment, and my life. How are we supposed to just merge those things? We don't have to figure it all out today, but everyone's going to have questions. Your family, your friends, your business associates. Oh, by the way, here's my daughter who's been missing for 20 years, but now she's back except she doesn't remember anything and goes by a different name. How is that supposed to work? Who cares what other people think? I do, Claudia's voice rose. Because unlike you, I can't just exist in my own bubble. I have to worry about what people say, how they look at me, whether they think I'm some kind of con artist trying to scam a rich man. No one's going to think that. You don't know that. You have no idea what it's like to be me, to have spent your whole life on the outside looking in, watching people with money and power and opportunities you'll never have, and now suddenly I'm supposed to be one of those people. I don't know how to be that person. You don't have to be anyone but yourself. But which self? She spun to face him. That's what I keep asking. Which version of me is real? The one Rosa raised, who learned to stretch every peso and wear the same clothes until they fell apart? Or the one you lost, who probably had everything handed to her and never had to worry about where her next meal was coming from. The accusation in her voice stung, but Fernando understood. She was angry, scared, grieving, and he was the easiest target. Isabella didn't have it easy either, he said quietly. She lost her mother when she was 8, lost her father, lost her home, her identity, everything she knew. She didn't get everything handed to her. She got trauma, just like Claudia did. Claudia's anger deflated. She sank back onto the couch. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be cruel, I'm just so confused. I know, and I'm scared, because what if I accept this? Accept being Isabella, and then you realize I'm not the daughter you wanted. What if I'm a disappointment? You could never disappoint me. You don't know that. You have this idea of who Isabella would have been if she'd grown up with you. But I grew up poor, Fernando. I made mistakes. I got pregnant at 19 by a guy who bailed the second he found out. I've worked terrible jobs, lived in terrible places, struggled every single day just to survive. That's not the life you imagined for your daughter. Fernando moved closer. You're right, it's not. Because I imagined you safe and happy and loved. And instead, you had to fight for everything. But that doesn't make you less. It makes you more. You survived. You thrived. You raised an amazing daughter. That takes more strength than anything I could have given you. Claudia wiped her eyes. Sophia asked me this morning if we could change our last name to Salazar, and I didn't know what to tell her. What do you want to tell her? I don't know. She looked at the altar with Rosa's picture. Rosa gave me the name Rivera. It's all I've known for 20 years. Changing it feels like erasing her. Then don't change it. Or hyphenate. Salazar Rivera. Both parts of you. Is that what I should do? Keep both names. What do you want? Claudia was quiet for a long time. I want to stop feeling like I'm betraying someone no matter what I choose. Then choose yourself. Not me. Not Rosa's memory. Not Sophia. What does Claudia Isabella want? She met his eyes, and for the first time since he'd told her the truth, he saw something other than pain there. Maybe not acceptance yet, but the beginning of it. I want to know who I really am. All of it. The good and the bad. I want those memories back. Then we'll find them, together. 2 days after their conversation, Fernando got the call he'd been waiting for. I've got her, Javier said. Elena Rivera, and she's ready to talk. Where are you? Querétaro. Small house on the outskirts. Fernando, she's terrified, kept asking if she sent me. Patricia. Yeah. Elena's been living in fear for 20 years, waiting for the day it all catches up to her. Javier paused. She wants immunity. Won't say a word without it in writing. Get a lawyer down there. Whatever she needs, I want her testimony recorded and legally binding. Already on it, should have everything wrapped up by tomorrow. Fernando hung up and immediately called Claudia. Javier found Elena, Rosa's sister. She's going to confess everything. Silence on the other end. Then, I want to be there when she does. Claudia. She's the one who took me, right? Who handed me over to Rosa. I deserve to hear why. Fernando wanted to protect her from this, but she was right. She deserved answers. Okay, I'll arrange it. They drove to Querétaro the next morning. Fernando, Claudia, and Javier. Sophia stayed with a neighbor, spared from having to witness what was coming. The house was modest, paint peeling, surrounded by dusty fields. An old woman sat on the porch in a rocking chair, looking like she was waiting for Judgment Day. Elena Rivera must have been in her 70s now, her face carved with deep lines, but her eyes were sharp, darting nervously between the three of them as they approached. Señor Salazar. Her voice shook. Elena? Fernando kept his tone neutral, though rage simmered beneath. This woman had stolen his daughter. This is Javier Morales, my investigator, and this, he gestured to Claudia. This is Isabella, though you knew her as the child you gave to your sister. Elena's hand flew to her mouth. She stared at Claudia like seeing a ghost. Dios mío, you grew up. No thanks to you, Claudia said coldly. I'm sorry. Tears spilled down Elena's weathered cheeks. I'm so sorry. I've been sorry every day for 20 years. Sorry doesn't fix what you did. I know. Elena wrung her hands. But please, let me explain. Let me tell you why. Why you kidnapped a child? Fernando's voice was steel. There's no explanation that makes that okay. I was desperate. My husband had just died. I had debts I couldn't pay. And then she came to me. Patricia, Javier interjected. My sister, Elena nodded miserably. She said she needed a favor. Said there was a child causing problems. That the family would be better off if the child just disappeared. She offered me 50,000 pesos. More money than I'd see in 5 years. So you sold me, Claudia said flatly. I didn't think of it like that. She made it sound like I was doing something good. Said the child wasn't wanted, that she'd have a better life somewhere else. Elena wiped her eyes. I was supposed to take you far away, maybe to an orphanage, or leave you somewhere you'd be found. But when I saw you... What? Claudia's voice cracked. You were so small, so scared. You kept crying for your papa, asking where he was, saying you wanted to go home. Elena's face crumpled. I couldn't just abandon you, so I took you to Rosa. Told her you were an orphan I'd found, that you needed a home. Rosa always wanted children but couldn't have them. She took you in without question. Did she know? Claudia demanded. Did Rosa know what you'd done? No. I swear on my life, no. Rosa thought she was saving an abandoned child. She loved you like you were her own. Everything she did because she genuinely believed you were hers to protect. Something in Claudia's expression softened slightly. At least that mercy. Rosa's love had been real. And Patricia? Fernando asked. You've been in contact with her all these years. Elena nodded. She sends money every month. Hush money, I guess you'd call it. Enough to live on, as long as I kept quiet. But she made it clear. If I ever talked, if I ever told anyone what I did, she'd make sure I went to prison for the rest of my life. You deserve prison, Claudia said. I know, I do. That's why I'm ready to confess everything. I can't live with this guilt anymore. Every time I close my eyes, I see your face. That little girl crying for her father. It's haunted me for 20 years. Javier pulled out a recording device and a stack of legal documents. This is your immunity agreement. You testify against Patricia Salazar. Provide all documentation of payments and communications. And in exchange, you'll serve probation instead of prison time. Elena signed without hesitation. What do you want to know? For the next 2 hours, they recorded everything. Elena detailed how Patricia had approached her, how the plan was executed, how she'd taken Isabella from the park while Fernando was distracted. She provided bank records, text messages, even a handwritten note from Patricia outlining the payment schedule. She was paranoid, Elena explained. Kept everything documented in case she needed leverage someday. I kept copies of everything too. Insurance. Why did Patricia do it? Claudia asked. Why go through all this? Money, Elena said simply. She told me once when she was drunk that as long as you were alive, she'd never inherit anything. Your father's will left everything to his children first. With you gone, she was next in line. Fernando felt sick. His own sister had stolen his daughter over inheritance. Over money he would have gladly shared if she'd just asked. There's something else, Elena said quietly. Something I never told anyone. What? The day I took Isabella. Patricia was there, at the park, watching. She'd called your phone, Fernando, to distract you. Made sure you were turned around when I grabbed the child. She orchestrated every detail. The room went silent. Claudia spoke first, her voice shaking with fury. She was there. She watched me get kidnapped and did nothing. She did worse than nothing, Javier said grimly. She made it happen. Fernando stood abruptly, needing to move before the rage consumed him. 20 years. 20 years of grief, of searching, of self-blame. And Patricia had been there the whole time, watching him suffer, knowing exactly where Isabella was, his own sister. I want her arrested, he said. Today, right now. We have enough evidence, Javier confirmed. Between Elena's testimony and the financial records, we can get a warrant. Do it. Elena looked at Claudia with desperate eyes. I know you can't forgive me. I don't deserve forgiveness. But I need you to know. Rosa loved you, everything she did, every sacrifice she made. It was real. That part wasn't a lie. Claudia stared at the old woman for a long moment. Rosa's dead. She died not knowing the truth about what her sister did. That's your burden to carry, not mine. I know. I'll carry it to my grave. As they prepared to leave, Elena called out one more thing. Claudia, Isabella, whatever your name is, I'm glad you survived. Glad you became someone strong. Rosa would be proud. Claudia didn't respond. Just walked to the car, shoulders rigid, on the drive back to Mexico City. Claudia stared out the window in silence. Fernando didn't push her to talk. Just drove, occasionally glancing at her rigid profile. Finally, as the city lights came into view, she spoke. I don't know how to feel. Part of me wants to hate Elena for what she did. But another part, she trailed off. Another part what? Another part is grateful. Because if Elena had taken me to an orphanage or left me on some random street corner, who knows what would have happened to me? I might not have survived. But Rosa, her voice cracked. Rosa gave me love, gave me a home, raised me to be strong. And I have Sophia because of the life Rosa gave me. That's not gratitude you owe Elena. That's gratitude you owe Rosa. I know, but it's all tangled up, you know? The good and the bad, the lies and the love. Nothing is clean. Fernando reached over and squeezed her hand. Life rarely is. What happens now to Patricia? She gets arrested, goes to trial, pays for what she did. And then we figure out how to move forward. You, me, and Sophia, as a family. Claudia looked at him, really looked at him, for the first time since they'd left Elena's house. You really mean that, family? I've meant it from the moment I saw you on that street corner. Even though I'm not really Isabella anymore. You're exactly Isabella, just grown up. And I wouldn't want you any other way. For the first time in days, Claudia smiled, small, tentative, but real. Okay, she said softly. Let's be a family. The arrest warrant came through the next morning. Fernando insisted on being there when they brought Patricia in. Not to gloat, not for revenge, though God knows he wanted both, but to see her face when she realized it was over. 20 years of lies, of manipulation, of living with blood on her hands. All of it. Finished. Javier arranged for them to use a conference room at Salazar Industries. Neutral ground. Lawyers on both sides. Police present. Everything documented and recorded. Patricia couldn't worm her way out of this one. You sure you want to be here? Fernando asked Claudia as they waited. She sat ramrod straight in her chair, wearing one of the new outfits Fernando had insisted on buying her. Professional, polished. But her hands shook slightly in her lap. I need to see her. Need to look her in the eye and know this is real. It's going to be ugly. Good. She deserves ugly. The door opened. 2 officers entered first, followed by Patricia flanked by her lawyers. Expensive suits, briefcases, the whole production. She looked immaculate as always. Hair perfect, makeup flawless, designer dress that probably cost more than Claudia used to make in a month. But when her eyes landed on Claudia, something cracked in that perfect facade. So it's true, Patricia said, her voice tight. She really is alive. Her name is Isabella, Fernando said coldly. Or Claudia. Either way, she's my daughter, the daughter you stole from me. I didn't steal anyone. I simply relocated an obstacle. The casual cruelty of it made Claudia flinch. Fernando reached under the table and squeezed her hand. One of Patricia's lawyers cleared his throat. My client maintains her innocence and... Save it, Javier interrupted, sliding a folder across the table. We have Elena Rivera's full confession. Bank records showing 20 years of payments from your client to Elena, text messages, emails, and most damning of all, a handwritten note from Patricia herself outlining the terms of the kidnapping. That note could be fabricated. It's not, Patricia said quietly. Her lawyers looked at her in alarm, but she waved them off. What's the point? They have everything. Elena finally grew a conscience. She laughed bitterly. 20 years of keeping her quiet, and now she just confesses. Unbelievable. Why? Claudia's voice was raw. Why did you do it? I was 8 years old. What did I ever do to you? Patricia's eyes were cold. You existed. That was enough. That's not an answer, isn't it? Patricia leaned forward. Do you have any idea what it's like to live in someone's shadow your entire life? Fernando got everything: the company, the respect, the perfect family. And what did I get? Scraps. Here, Patricia, you can have this tiny office. Here, Patricia, you can attend board meetings but never vote. Here, Patricia, you can watch your brother build an empire while you smile and play the dutiful sister. So you kidnapped his daughter. Claudia's voice rose. You destroyed his life because you were jealous. I secured my future. There's a difference. Fernando slammed his hand on the table. She was a child. She was an heir. As long as Isabella existed, I'd never inherit. Father's will made that abundantly clear. Everything to Fernando's children. Then to me, if he had none, well, he had one, and I made sure he didn't anymore. The room fell silent. Even Patricia's lawyers looked disturbed. You're a monster, Claudia whispered. I'm a survivor. Patricia sat back, regaining her composure. You think the world is fair? That good things happen to good people. Please, the world belongs to those who take what they want. I just took what should have been mine. It was never yours, Fernando said. You were never entitled to my daughter's life, and yet, I took it anyway. And for 20 years, it worked perfectly. You were broken, exactly as you deserved to be after getting everything handed to you, and I finally had security. Except I found her, Fernando said. All your planning, all your cruelty, and you still lost. Something flickered in Patricia's eyes then. Fear, maybe, or realization that her carefully constructed world was crumbling. You won't testify, she said suddenly, looking at Claudia. You can't, because if you do, everyone will know your precious Rosa was involved, that the woman who raised you was complicit in kidnapping. Rosa didn't know, Claudia said firmly. Are you sure? Because that's what Elena says. But she's a liar. Always has been. For all you know, Rosa was in on it from the beginning, took payment to raise you, played the loving mother while cashing my checks. Shut up. Claudia stood so fast her chair fell backward. Rosa never touched your dirty money. Elena kept it all. Rosa worked 3 jobs to feed me, wore the same clothes for years so I could have new ones, gave up everything to make sure I was okay. Don't you dare speak about her. Touched a nerve, did I? Javier stood. That's enough, officers, please. One of the policemen stepped forward. Patricia Salazar, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit kidnapping, child endangerment, and obstruction of justice. As they read her rights, Patricia's lawyers immediately started talking about bail, about appeals, about how they'd fight this. But Patricia wasn't listening. She was staring at Claudia with an expression that might have been regret if it weren't so calculating. You know what the funny thing is, Patricia said as they cuffed her. I actually feel sorry for you. Sorry for me. Claudia's laugh was sharp. You're going to prison, but you're the one who has to live with the truth, that your entire life was built on my decision. Every choice you made, every struggle you endured, every moment with Rosa, all of it exists because of me. I shaped your life more than anyone, even him. She nodded at Fernando. So go ahead, send me to prison. But remember, Isabella or Claudia or whoever you think you are, you're my creation as much as his. The officers led her out, but her words lingered like poison in the air. Claudia sank back into her chair, looking shaken. She's wrong, Fernando said immediately. You're not her creation. You're your own person. Am I? Claudia's voice was small. Because she's right about one thing. Everything I am, everything I've become, it all stems from what she did. If she hadn't taken me, I'd be someone completely different. Maybe, but that doesn't make you hers. You're the one who survived. You're the one who fought and struggled and built a life. She just set the stage. You wrote the story. But what if... Claudia stopped, tears spilling over. What if she's right? What if I'm so damaged by what happened that I can never really be your daughter? What if there's too much Claudia and not enough Isabella? Fernando knelt in front of her chair, taking both her hands. Listen to me. I don't want Isabella back the way she was. That little girl is gone. But you, Claudia, Isabella, whoever you want to be, you're here. And you're strong and brave and beautiful. And I am so damn proud to be your father. Do you hear me? Even though I'm broken. You're not broken. You're bent. Maybe scarred. But not broken. Never broken. Claudia pulled him into a hug, sobbing into his shoulder, and for the first time since he'd lost her 20 years ago, Fernando held his daughter and let himself believe that maybe, just maybe, they could heal together. As they left the building, Javier pulled Fernando aside. The day wants Claudia to testify at trial, with her testimony and Elena's. Patricia's looking at 25 to life. She'll do it, Fernando said, glancing at Claudia, who was calling Sofia. She's stronger than she thinks. What about after? Once Patricia's put away? What's the plan? Fernando watched Claudia laugh at something Sofia said, her face lighting up despite everything. We start over. Build something new. Figure out how to be a family. Think it'll work. It has to. I didn't spend 20 years searching just to lose her again. Javier clapped him on the shoulder. You're a good man, Fernando. Better than most. No, I'm just a father who got a second chance. And I'm not going to waste it. That night, Fernando, Claudia, and Sofia sat in his penthouse, their first dinner together as a family. It was awkward at first, nobody quite sure how to act. But then Sofia started telling stories about school, and Claudia relaxed, and Fernando found himself laughing for the first time in weeks. As he watched them, his daughter and granddaughter, he felt something he hadn't felt in 20 years. Hope. Real, genuine hope for the future. 6 months later, the courtroom had been packed for the verdict. Reporters lined the walls, cameras flashing despite the judge's warnings. The case had become national news. Billionaire's long-lost daughter, family conspiracy, decades of secrets finally exposed. But Fernando barely noticed the circus around him. His eyes were fixed on the judge as she read the sentence. Patricia Salazar, you are hereby sentenced to 25 years in federal prison without possibility of parole for 10 years. You will also pay restitution to the victims in the amount of... The rest faded into background noise. 25 years. It would never be enough. But it was something. Justice. Finally, after 2 decades of lies beside him, Claudia exhaled slowly. On her other side, Sofia squeezed her mother's hand. Patricia was let out in handcuffs, her designer suit wrinkled from months of pretrial detention. She looked older now, broken in a way that money couldn't fix. As she passed their row, her eyes met Fernando's briefly. She didn't apologize, didn't show remorse, just looked away and kept walking. Some people never change. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed them with questions. Mr. Salazar, how does it feel to finally have justice? Claudia, what's it like reconnecting with your biological father? Will you be changing your name legally? Javier ran interference while Fernando guided Claudia and Sofia through the crowd to the waiting car. Once inside, Claudia let out a shaky laugh. Is it always like that? Unfortunately, Fernando loosened his tie. But it'll die down. Something new will catch their attention soon enough. Good, because I'm done being a headline. Claudia looked at Sofia, who was playing a game on her phone, oblivious to the chaos. We deserve normal, whatever that looks like. What does normal look like to you? Claudia considered. I don't know yet, but I think we're figuring it out. The changes had been gradual but profound. 2 months after Patricia's arrest, Claudia and Sofia had moved into Fernando's penthouse. Not permanently. Claudia insisted on keeping her apartment, just in case. But enough to test the waters of living as a family. It hadn't been easy. Claudia struggled with accepting help, with living in luxury when she'd spent so long in poverty. She felt guilty every time Fernando bought Sofia new clothes or paid for dance lessons. Felt like an imposter walking through rooms that cost more than she'd earned in a lifetime. I don't belong here, she'd said one night, standing in the massive kitchen. Then we'll find somewhere you do, Fernando had replied. This is just a building. Home is wherever we decide to make it. They'd compromised, kept the penthouse but donated most of Fernando's excessive furniture to charity, replaced it with pieces Claudia picked out. Simpler, warmer, more lived in, hung Sofia's artwork on the walls, filled the shelves with books instead of expensive sculptures. Slowly, the space transformed from a bachelor's showcase into a home. The legal name change had been Claudia's idea. Isabella Claudia Salazar Rivera, she'd announced at dinner one night. All of it. Every piece of who I am. You sure? Fernando had asked. That's a mouthful. I'm sure, because I'm not just one person. I'm both. The girl you lost, and the woman Rosa raised. "And I'm done pretending I have to choose," Sofia had clapped. "Does that mean I can be Sofia Rivera Salazar? If you want." "Cool. I always wanted a fancy name." The paperwork had been filed the next day. Reconnecting with Fernando's world had been harder than Claudia expected. Business associates would congratulate Fernando on finding his daughter, then turn to Claudia with thinly veiled curiosity. She could see the questions in their eyes. Was it real? Was she really his daughter? Or just someone after his money at a company gala 2 months ago? A woman in diamonds had asked Claudia point blank, "How convenient that you remembered you were his daughter, right when he's one of the richest men in Mexico." Claudia had smiled tightly. "How convenient that you can afford those diamonds when children are starving in this city." Fernando had laughed so hard he'd spilled his drink. After that, people learned not to question Claudia Rivera Salazar. She might have grown up poor, but she was nobody's doormat. The hardest part had been forgiving herself. One night, about 4 months in, Claudia had broken down completely. They'd been looking at old photo albums. Fernando showing her pictures of Isabella, trying to spark memories. "I should remember," she'd sobbed. "You're my father. This was my life. Why can't I remember?" "Because you were traumatized. Because your brain protected you the only way it knew how. But you've been waiting 20 years for Isabella to come back. And I can't give her to you. I can't be her." Fernando had closed the album and pulled her into his arms. "I don't want Isabella back. I want you. Right here. Right now. Scars and all. Even though I'm not who you lost. You're exactly who I found. And that's enough." It had taken time, but slowly, Claudia started believing him. Today, standing in a field of Mexican sunflowers on the outskirts of the city, Fernando watched Sofia chase butterflies through the golden blooms, the same flowers that had filled the park 20 years ago, the same ones that haunted Claudia's dreams. They'd come here deliberately, facing the past, reclaiming it. Claudia stood beside him, the breeze catching her hair. Around her neck hung a new pendant, silver heart, just like the original, but with a different inscription. "Never again lost, Papa." "You okay?" Fernando asked. "Yeah," she smiled. "I am. Any memories coming back? Flashes, nothing concrete. But you know what? I think I'm okay with that." She turned to him. "The memories I'm making now are enough. This, us, here, together, this is what matters." Sofia ran back, breathless and laughing. "Abuelo, look what I found." She held up a perfect yellow flower. "Can we take it home?" "Of course, mija." As Sofia ran off again, Claudia leaned against Fernando's shoulder. "Thank you for never giving up, for finding me. Thank you for letting me back in, for giving me a second chance at being a father. Think we're doing okay at this whole family thing." Fernando looked at Sofia dancing through the flowers, at Claudia peaceful beside him, at the golden afternoon light, painting everything warm. "Yeah," he said softly. "I think we're doing just fine." Later that evening, back at the penthouse, they sat together in the living room. Fernando had started a fire, unnecessary in Mexico City's climate, but cozy. Sofia was asleep on the couch, curled up with a book about princesses. "I've been thinking," Claudia said, "about the foundation you mentioned, the one for missing children. What about it? I want to help. Use my story to give other families hope. Maybe help other kids who've been found reconnect with their families." "You sure? That means going public with everything." "I'm sure, because if my story, our story, can help even one family, it's worth it." She paused. "Rosa would have wanted that. For something good to come from all this pain." Fernando smiled. "Then we'll do it. Together." "Together," Claudia agreed. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the fire dance. Outside, the city sprawled endlessly, full of people living their own stories of loss and hope and survival. And in this one small corner of it, a father and daughter who'd been torn apart by cruelty had finally found their way back to each other. The wound would always be there. 20 years couldn't just disappear, but wounds could heal, could become scars. And scars, Fernando had learned, weren't just marks of pain. They were proof of survival, proof that you'd been broken but hadn't stayed that way, proof that love, real love, could transcend time and trauma. and every obstacle thrown in its path, as the fire crackled and Sophia snored softly and Claudia's hand found his.